Well, I'm hoping that this is not skipping around, but it's like I said, there's still like temporary internet issue. So this is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is November 2nd, 2025. It is 9:06 a.m. Eastern New York time, USA. And for anybody like me, when I woke up this morning, I was kind of confused about what time it was. I looked at my phone and it said one thing, and I felt like, I'm like, geez, I get extra sleep or something. And weirdly enough, I did. Yeah, it's set your clocks back. I don't know if anybody else, like, there's some people who might, especially you're in, what they call the Western Hemisphere, in this side of the earth, um, the Americas, so to speak. It's like, yeah, I have difficulty adjusting, like the spring forward, and I always mix this up. I don't know whether it's standard time or daylight time. I'm like, I don't know. It's one of those, right? But in the spring forward, I don't seem to have as much difficulty adjusting. But in the fall, I seem to have a little more difficulty adjusting. So it's kind of like harder for me. Anyway, I'm sure there's other people like that. I've met other people where like the fallback is more difficult to adjust to. That's the other thing is the ice hockey teams, they all have to keep that in the National Hockey League. All get keep that straight. So I'm sure there's people who, I mean, I gotta be honest. If I was a player, I'd just get up and be like, oh, "It's time to get up." Okay, where point where I'm supposed to go. Okay, what it's practice. Okay, all right, we do some practice. All right, we go here. Well, okay, I can take a nap. Okay, great. I mean, I quite literally would not be able to track all that. They gotta go different time zones and different. I'm just having difficulty making sure that I'm tracking a different time zone because I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan and they're on Central Time. So I think it's a background standard time because I did double check and look. It's just one of those things that I'm a little off kilter in the fall. But of course, I've got the ice hockey week, which I'm always grateful for. And yeah, I mean, here, but some people need to understand. I mean, I get like these things copyright and registered, right? Um, I mean, I'm allowed to do this because I'm a fan and I'm not making money off of it. But there are some people who, yeah, try and make money off certain things and probably shouldn't be. Yeah, they're around. I don't know. I call them vultures, right? And then some of them are like, "Oh, there's plenty to go around with there." Well, you'd be surprised what what it what kind of damage can be done. People are like, "Oh, yeah," you'd be surprised. But that's why I will never monetize this channel ever. This is, yes, Creasesinger from Earth is never ever going to be monetized. Never. It's not meant to, and that's why I'm ignoring any communication that I get trying to tell me that can help me monetize my. I'm like, I don't need help monetizing. I mean, if I'm going to make money, it isn't going to be off of this because I put other people's music. I talk about hockey franchise. I mean, I definitely am not looking to make money off of any of this. What's called intellectual property, and all over the planet. I mean, there's like specific people who work to protect it. I mean, there's a whole. Some people may not get that, but this is real. It's not fake. Okay, it's like these things have not disintegrated or gone away. Anyway, so it's hockey season, but it's more importantly for the fellas. No matter what these guys say, slanging the biz kit. Jeez, guys, don't don't embarrass me like this. Okay, I know some of you have been vamped on by certain opportunistic females who aren't as kind and loving, and I don't know. Okay, but to say that there should be no females commentating or working in an NHL franchise is just, it's just unacceptable. And I know deep down you don't really mean it. Okay? I mean, I'll say there's some females who may have gotten their jobs by nepotism, but there's males too. Yeah, that's not an option for me. I don't have a hockey famous last name. I mean, in that sense, but come on, there's plenty of us who understand what we're looking at. Okay, I mean, yes, and I have been in gear and I have tried to play. I was older than, but you can't hold that against me. I mean, there was no option where I grew up. But I'm not just trying to say it's because I have no penis or it's boo hoo, I'm a female. It's not fair. I don't give a shit about fair. Okay, it's the males and the females, everybody around me. We did not have the same, hockey options. Okay, there was field hockey and, every so often, right, like street hockey. But it took a while for those things to actually happen. And so now kids all around here where I'm in Cecil County, Maryland, and there isn't an ice rink here. So that's something that maybe some people who want to invest or right. So and can afford it, and it's just you're looking for opportunities, and you have the money, and you have, and you like to provide some sort of recreational situation for people around here, which the town of Elkton, Maryland, really needs. And they just lost the bowling alley because of a fire. But I mean, I live within walking distance. I mean, I have to hobble. I'm within hobble distance, okay, of it, but it's available. And I look at it, and I'm not like the square footage, but maybe it's already built. It's just this building, and it can probably be adjusted pretty easily. It's got a lot of parking and plenty of parking, and it could probably be adjusted pretty easily um, to an ice rink. I mean, not big ice, but smaller ice. You know what I'm saying? For people who want to ice skate or speed skate or right, put a little ice hockey program and right the recreational options and the we don't have a movie theater here. I know some of these things. Oh, they're all dying out. Well, that's not true. Okay, like, and people, there are people who still read the newspaper, like paper. They're going to. Right? See, some of you think that things are obsolete, and I'm saying, well, no, they're not. Um, but I mean, me, I'm always thinking ice hockey. So when I see the bowling alley, it's just like, well, it's probably for sale. It had some fire damage, but it's got good bones on the outside. It's like cinder block, and it could, I mean, I look at the size and I'm just like, well, it could small ice. Okay, so smaller ice. So if anybody's ever been, I'm trying to think of one that's equivalent. Um, the one with the golf course. It's right inside, like right where Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Yeah, there's golf course. It's I'm not thinking or Northwestern that's over there in Baltimore, and there's one I think in New York, right? Smaller ice, okay, but ice nonetheless enough so you can go around in circles. Um, but the other thing about ice rinks is like people who are like little musicians and people with little bands and they're just aren't right. Friday nights they can play their band and kids and adults have something to do off the streets, a little bit of exercise, have some fun. Great, a band who's trying to get some practice playing out. Uh, a little ice rinks like that are great. They're great. You may get discovered that way. Who knows? But you can practice playing out. Um, there are quite a few ice rinks that I've seen around the state of Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania as I've gone through my life that do have that. the weekends, Friday, Saturday night, they have bands, and it's for teens and people looking for things to do. Sunday skates, things like that. So here in Elkton, where I am, there is like a serious lack of options for people. Yeah. So there is a bowling alley, and it's right on, I think it's North Street and Bow Street. Yeah. So those of you who have the money and are looking for like ways to put hockey out and help people out and ice skate, and it's a good family atmosphere. You can do these things. Well, plus for music and musicians and people who, what I'm saying, like a local band who'd like to get a gig playing there every Friday night, and there's people looking out for the younger people. So I mean, I don't have funds, but there may be someone out there who does, and I just keep Elkton, Maryland in mind. It's one place that it could be an option for smaller ice. I'm not. It wouldn't be big. It would be smaller ice, but there is plenty of parking. And maybe if not there, somewhere else. Having an ice rink somewhere in Cecil County, just an extra option. For people, recreation, fun, and maybe a little tiny like, you know, well, the little ones, the really little ones, so cute. Like they're like pint size. You know what I'm saying? And I love watching them. Really, like they're like 3 and 4 years old, and little teeny tiny kids. That doesn't matter. They can be what do you call them? Co-ed. Right. I mean, they're all in their years, so whether they're male or female doesn't matter. Um, some of them get started early. So, um, it would be like perfect size for like high school games and rec skating, ice skating. I mean, small ice. Um, it's just worth a look because I know some people do have those kind of resources and do look around, and in Cecil County you really could use some family options, and one of them could be absolutely an ice rink, and ice rink goes all year round, which is, I mean, your cost will probably differ somewhere and all that other kind of thing, but it does go all year round, and a possibility for a couple employment, plus also gives options for up and coming local bands. Maybe gets the Friday night gig, um, and get used to playing live. So I just mentioned these things because I mean that's one option. I mean that one may not be viable, but I don't really know the square footage. But around here it would be helpful if there were a few more options for people. But ice rinks that are right indoors are all year long, and in the summertime, I mean, people probably flock and get the flock and flock over to the. Let's all flock to the to the ice rink because it's cool inside. I mean, it has to be right. Um, and they have like safe ways for people to learn, like the walker stroller thing, and assisted devices. So even if you're like 6 feet and brittle, it's okay. Right? There's ways to learn so you're not falling all over the place. Yeah, I did a lot of falling all over the place. I'm sure I was just like to be old when I first really started like picking up speed and trying to learn crossovers. I did really well doing crossovers one foot to the other, but when I switched sides and did crossovers the other direction, I was constantly blown away. Wee! I did. I did actually start wearing like a skater type lid because I fell backward and I hit my head on ice, and it hit so hard it knocked my contacts out. Yeah. No concussion. Amen to that. I mean, I didn't feel sick. I didn't, right, but it definitely stunned me, for a little while. Out. Yeah. So ice, technically, if it's frozen to a certain point in what it should be for ice skating, it's harder than concrete. So you do have to be careful. But this is one thing. If you're older, I mean, kids obviously, but if you're older and you're learning how to skate for any reason on ice skates, yeah, and just be the dork who wears the lid. What I'm trying to say. Right. I mean, yeah. Like I couldn't find uh, contacts that would stay in my eyes, or they didn't feel, like there was constantly something in my eye, and then I'm seeing double, and so I got to a point where it's like you can buy the sports glasses that are prescription. At that point, I'm like, with all the goalie gear and every other, and, number one, I'm never gonna get sleep. Number two, okay, I'm priced out. I'm priced out of this for now. I, I can't put any into this. So skating, yeah, and it was harder to wear glasses, but I did sort of like I messed with my hollow out rich so I can wear glasses. But you know, here having that, like, I mean, they do have some other sports things in there working on, but it's just one of those things that might come in handy. Uh, but around me though, growing up, none of us really had many options for even rec skating, and that's changed a good bit. And so, I mean, that's good news. But yeah, me, I'll push ice rinks. I don't care. I'm gonna push an ice rink on you, right? You know that. Well, then why do you think I'm here? Did you think I came here, right? I'm here to push ice rinks on them, right? They're like wealthy people. Some wealthy people do look for opportunities to, spend their money in ways that are helpful to the poor. Yeah, this place is one of the more poor counties. It's a little more rural, and yeah, so it's just one of those things. So I'm pushing some ice hockey, some ice rink. Lots of people. Yeah, obviously, I'm very familiar with the position of goaltender, and I was an athlete growing up. Yeah, all sorts of things got in the way of that. At some point, you do have to kind of like, crap, right? Either your own, physicalness, you can't anymore get injured, or some family stuff. But I understand particularly how National Hockey League athletes think, because I've been listening to them and reading about them, and like just like more info, more books. Oh, this one wrote a book. Oh, this one, ain't is really good with the press and answers, and this one writes articles, and this coach used to play, and this one, I whenever I listen listen to the players, listen to the coaches, learn about some people, because how people end up being coaches, or how people end up being managers, or how and what they do after their career. And some of it still has to do with ice hockey. Some go do like help out AHL. Some will go help out OHL. Just people, just hockey people in general. And I mean, I've met quite a few ice hockey fans in person of different clubs actually, but online too. And I don't really ever get too vicious when I'm online, because for us spectators, I'm like, it really is just for fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nobody should be taking any of this personally, right? It's sort of like that's what we do. It's sort of a playful thing. But I mean, the dudes that are inside the glass, no, that's not. sometimes, they mean it at that point in time. They do and bite your ear off or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. That's for them to know and me not to know. It can get pretty ugly in there. So yeah, which is another reason that well, some kids are probably good lip readers after a while. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the coach is yelling about chips and flocks, chips and flocks. Kids, yeah, yeah. Good lip readers start to figure out, oh, that's not what. Uh, but there's decent people, you know, around the ballot hockey way, and it is true. Maybe I don't want to be Canadian, right? Maybe, yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't just like my country or anything. It's just like over the years, it's like, well, I'm a Blue Jays fan. Oh, I'm like, Blue Jays, right? Well, I didn't watch any of those games. Like, I checked in online a little bit every so often to see like what inning and what was going. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not as well versed on like baseball jinxies as I am with the hockey jinxies. Like, so I didn't want to jinx the Jays. So I'm like, go Jays, go Jays. Um, but the fact they got that far, I mean, and some of the footage and other kind of stuff. So, but I'm also a Winnipeg Jets fan, and I'm learning a lot about Manitoba just from listening to the stuff on the radio. I had yesterday. Most of the time, if you are listening on just the radio, okay, but if you can't get um, uh, the Manitoba station, 680 or CJOB or 7, which is a like alternative music station, uh, like radio, you can go online, and there's like a radio player and iHeartRadio. The thing of it is, though, it's like Canadian iHeartRadio. So, yeah, I had a little difficulty because the one that's in the iHeartRadio that you can get online in the U.S. is for U.S. and Mexico. So, iHeartRadio in Canada is different, and so there is a difference between those two things. So, I spent some time. The Blue Bombers were actually playing at the same time the Jets were playing yesterday. So, um, the normal station that I would listen to is 680 CJOB um, online because I live in Maryland, so I have to do it that way. Um, and so they didn't, and I was trying very hard yesterday, trying to get the right Canadian radio player, and learning some interesting things that sometimes it's like right geo blocks or on online where you even if you download a player that's meant for Canadian stations, it sometimes won't do that if you're in a given country. And I don't know about all that. It's just some kind of techie stuff. So I was just like looking on the Twitter for like little updates and things like that. So I didn't get to see the whole game, and at a certain point, I couldn't. I had to go do something, and so I missed like maybe the last period. But thankfully, okay, I'm learning about the Jets hub. Okay, and Jets at noon, and of course check in with Sarah and Jamie. Some of the ones I subscribed to recently. Paying like I check in with more often now that hockey season is in full swing. Has different people, and I'm learning more about them. Let's see. The Winnipeg Jets itself, the franchise. Jets at noon. So that's the one I'm trying to like. Yes. Cam and Jim. Um, and then Jets Hub. Uh, and then there's another one. Yeah. So there's a few that come out of Winnipeg, and they're closer to the action. I learned about from hearing the commercials and hearing the on 680 CJOB, the the traffic guy. I'm like, is he saying confusion circle? No, I mean, I'm like learning about the area, just other things, about Manitoba. And sometimes the news is like before I get on the CJOP has the pregame. They'll, I'll go in early, and then it's just like the news. So I hear, local news from Winnipeg. It's kind of fun. Uh, so, I mean, it's definitely a team that is definitely aiming for the playoffs. So in hockey speak, it's called a win now team. Um, so yeah, win now teams start in October building a playoff team. Like, right, I mean, they have to get there. People, they have to get there, and sometimes it can be one friggin' point at the end of the regular season. But it's looking good, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of positive stuff. One, like I said, JT. Some people call him Taser. Jonathan Taze. I mean, he was out for a while, and he was kind of like out of like hockey rhythm and other kind of things. And I learned a newer club, and so I mean, he's probably picking up. He's probably going to peak soon here, but that's why I kept getting online when they do check in or when they do Winnipeg Sports Talk, or if I get on the chat, I'm kind of like the first 10 games is like I think Taves is just warming up, getting used to his surroundings and getting used to the system, and getting his NHL game back and understanding like his role and that kind of thing, kind of building back up. So that was a good sign because I'm like, I don't think he's at his like full NHL game yet. And then Adam Lowry on ice and skated with the team, and that's good. And he's not in a no contact. But the other two who were injured been on ice. And the last time I heard, they were both in no contact jerseys, but still good, right? That they're on ice. So, but a lot of the fellas, I mean, right out the gate, injured. Injured captain, injured guys that some of these guys just they gotta fill some spaces, and some guys kind of like stepped up pretty well. And I know that there's a lot of people who have given Stanley, Stanley man, Stanimal, Lee Stanley a hard time over the years. Um, so I've been kind of quietly, I don't know, some people call it lurking or whatever, just quietly listening to the games and watching, and just over the past, I don't even know, like the year after uh, Winnipeg Jets 2.0 uh, came into being. And, over time, like, watching Stanley, it's like, well, maybe there was just enough defensive talent on the team that it was difficult, which can happen. I mean, it does kind of suck that way sometimes. It difficult to get everyone who wants time. Okay, and so, and in a competitive way, I mean, he really wanted to play. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he asked for a trade. I it, it makes sense. I mean, you need to have that room and space to be able to step up and level up and show your your game. And that is another reason why this business, the NHL sport, as in the business, is very very difficult, and it's not like other kinds of businesses at all. In that you can have skilled players who, it, it, you have to move for ice, and there may be guys stepping up and for a spot, and then these things aren't cut and dry. So people just beginning to watch or just beginning to listen and learn might think it is, but it isn't. There are guys, and so maybe there's room on another team where you have the option to level up and kind of, right, like show yourself. That's why trades happen sometimes. Because, it's not the franchise's fault. And it's not because you're not a skilled player. It's just got to manage the ice time and injuries and adjustments for, who they're playing, what have you. I mean, it is goes into it. It's right. So this is why it's sort of like when you first learn about ice hockey, just know, you're gonna learn all kinds of stuff, and it may seem like one thing, one year, and then few years, you're like, oh, like you learn, and you don't even realize sometimes until the end of the season. You start watching next season. Oh, okay, now I know why that happens, right? So I, I mean, I wasn't really one of those fans sitting out here spectating, dogging Stanley. Like I could just see it and then ask for a trade. But look, see, when it comes to defensive lines, what I'm saying is, I know at the beginning of the season, you do have to kind of check to see, how they gel and other kind of things, and maybe this one's, second line defense, or maybe this one can do third line deep, right? I mean, you kind of have to put them in different positions and move them around and see. But I mean, I kind of that Pionk and Stanley seem to be able to read each other really well. Um, so, yeah, and yeah, Stanimo. I mean, he's already beat his goal record, but it is a good sign. The players who are out, one are coming back in, but some are taking some leadership roles and are working to, where I know everybody's talking about trying to get in the Canadian Olympics. So the Olympics, oh boy, I'm gonna say this again. Boo me. Get ready to boo me. Everybody. Get ready. Yeah. Falls down, boo me. I don't agree with National Hockey League players playing in the Olympics. And I'm going to tell you why before. Number one, they're in the spotlight all the time anyway. Okay? But there are people that they know personally, I'm sure, that they grew up with in, over in Europe or Russia or over here in some part of North America or something, who probably could have gotten a spot on an NHL team, but there's only so many spots that edged out by like this freaking much. Those people should be allowed to be in the spotlight for the Olympics because they, a lot of them, yeah, probably got this close. They were scouted. They still play. They play without all the attention, or why they play because they love it. I really do think that countries should trust their non-national hockey league players to represent. And I think that I understand what an honor it is to play for your country. But National Hockey League players are playing for your country every day you step on NHL ice. And you're taking away another opportunity from guys that you probably played with or against along the way from your own home mother country. And I don't agree with it at all. It also, right, messes up the NHL hockey season, and there's all this extra stress. And sometimes it can cause like little fights and battles that don't have anything to do with the National Hockey League itself during the season. Hard feelings and everything. So I think it's wrong. And I don't care how the players feel about it. Players need to, just like, hear me out, folks. You don't want to take another opportunity away from your own fellow countrymen who were probably like this close to getting, a spot in the NHL. Okay, so professionally, so I don't know about KHL. What I'm saying is just National Hockey League. You're already representing your country because when you're on, they know, a lot of people know you're from Finland, a lot of people know you're from Russia, a lot of people know you're from here or from there or whatever. So just being on NHLS, you're representing your country. And you do that, season after season, and you have that opportunity. Don't rob an opportunity for some of your other fellow fucking countrymen to step up and play some fucking good winning Olympic ice hockey. I disagree, and it messes with the National Hockey League season, and it causes issues that don't need to be there. Just, I completely disagree with the viewpoint. I do. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Quit being fucking spotlight hogs. Then you want to be like that, okay? There are your fellow countrymen being robbed of another opportunity. Because I guarantee you, a lot of them were scouted or tried to get in the NHL, or I'm trying to say bullshit. I think that a strictly, amateur team could rise to the occasion. And you should really be thinking about your fellow countrymen instead of your own egos. To be honest. And it does mess with the NHL season. I don't care. Yes, it does. There have been occasions where guys have not been picked for the Olympic team, and then they got like bad attitudes the rest of the, and then there's issues and conflicts that started rising within an NHL franchise because of that. You can wipe all that away. You can help your own fellow citizens and give them that opportunity to amateur rise up. They should have that opportunity. I absolutely disagree. And then that's also another thing is that there's all this other. What if you get injured when you're playing Olympic ice? It affects the National Hockey League negatively. I disagree. That's the reason why. And I don't really care how anybody thinks about it. You do have to accept the fact that I'm not telling falsehoods, and I am being straightforward and honest about it. You're robbing your own fellow countrymen yet once again, because I'm sure that many of them tried to get scouted for the National Hockey League, another pro team. That many of them, if given the opportunity, still play. They still play. And if given the time and space and opportunity to represent their own country, I mean, Don't be attention hogs. Don't be spotlight hogs. Think of your fellow homeland person, mother country person. Give them the chance to rise to the occasion. So I disagree. And considering some of the things that can happen, how negatively it can affect the National Hockey League, I don't agree. May not matter what I think, but I'm just putting that out there because if some of them really sit down and think about it, there have been serious issues even inside locker rooms during the NHL. Dudes sort of, having issues and getting pissed because they didn't make, the Canadian team, so it affects their national hockey league team. Why even bother with it? Be concentrating on just the National Hockey League alone. Make room for your fellow ice hockey playing citizen. And if you lose and is not, and plus Olympic ice hockey isn't really like National Hockey League ice hockey. It's much bigger ice. That you don't go for hits. You don't these things. So I just disagree. I'm always going to disagree. You as the National Hockey League players who are playing on National Hockey League ice, you're already representing your country. A day in and day out. Okay? I mean, so some things like, sometimes, fellas, you need to let go of the old ways. And you need to let go of, oh, well, it's always been like this. It's always, no. I'm sure I would butt heads with some of them, like, but it's been this way since 19. And I'm just like, and look how fucked up everything got. Also, you don't want your NHL player getting injured, in a, you don't have as much control. The National Hockey League franchise, if they, blow a groin or, tear an MCL, they're done. I don't agree. But yeah, I am actually pushing indoor ice on people who have money and want to help out and looking for ways to do that. Like I said, I don't know if here in Elkton the bowling alley is big enough. I think it's big enough for small ones, right? And little concession stand and skates and like, yeah, place, for smaller games, younger, and then yeah, regular just recreation ice skating and stuff like that. This is more of a poor, financially county in Maryland. So yeah, I just kind of speak up. I know there are ways to do that, and I have the resources. But guys are like some people sometimes. It's just I'm gonna keep pushing. But as for the goalies and the players, like I like all of the entire franchise and fans. See? And so I always know that I might be watching an ice hockey game and thinking, God, man, something going on with the fellas today. But it's like a plan. It's like a strategy. Talked about it and they know, and I may not understand when I'm looking at it, but as the game progresses, it might start making more sense. A lot of people do their homework, and no one should ever think you can't. It is wrong to just put it on one guy. Okay, like or one goalie or one goal scorer or what. It's the whole freaking bench, both teams, and the people who they train with, and their family who support them, and all those administrative assistants and the part-time people and full-time people and the kids in the stands, rooting for them, and the grandmas in the stands, giving the young pumps dirty looks. It's an entire gigantic unit of human individuals, and most of it we don't get to see, but it is one of the reasons why I look at the organizational charts and things like that. Um, I know, see them, but I like it's a very big, you know, all things considered. So worldwide, small community, right? But if you're looking at it from it, it's like all this needs to happen to get your favorite players on ice, and they're human beings, and you all have to start letting that part into you, including goalies. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't need to be a wall right now. All right, let that part in. Okay, so I'm not as I don't say a lot in certain ways. Like there's some Jets Matt. I'm learning some of the more sort of like social media vocal. I know Kenny's a water bottle. He's got a good sense of humor, and some others, right? Like, but I wouldn't say Movember. Like Movember is for dudes. You see what I'm saying, fellas? I know, but I'm just gonna tell you, I've done a colonoscopy, done an endoscopy, and when I got my colonoscopy, they found what do you call it? A polyp, which could have developed into cancer. So, you know, these things, I know some people don't want to, or they wait, or they don't know, then it can't be anything wrong. And I know, fellas, with those things, prostates and male health, and oh, fellas, guess what? Dudes, you can also get breast cancer. So, having fellas know how to home check for that too. It's not just female. It's it's mammary gland tissue, so like it's the same kind of tissue in a male that's in a female. It might be distributed differently, and there might be less of it, but males can also get breast cancer. And I know sometimes embarrassing, talk about these things, but the more open people are about it, okay. I mean, I gotta admit, folks, I forget sometimes to do my monthly check, okay. But sometimes you can have your partner for fun, fiddling around in there. And when you go to certain yearly physical and help you, but every so often try and remember, view it, because males can absolutely get breast cancer, and the prostate check, and I mean it's not that bad. I mean you just you suck it up for a hot second, and then off you go. Yeah, so I've done a colonoscopy. I've done these things. I know I myself, fellas, have to remember to do my proper breast check too. But males should do that too. So yeah, and I mean in the U.S. and Canada at the very least, I know that Movember, Movemb, is about the dudes and your health and things that you can check for. But these two things are truth. Males can also get breast cancer, and so males should also check, and then the prostate check and other things, right? That it might be embarrassing for some to talk about, but the older you get, the more you realize, like the better you know how your body works, and the more you know about what to check for. Like early detection can quite literally give you 10, 20, 30 more years, depending. or just stop altogether. Like I said, if I hadn't done the colonoscopy, I had a polyp removed when I did the colonoscopy, and those tend to be what does eventually, if ignored and left to go, right, turn into cancer. So who knows? I mean, I don't know how much time I got without it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I know. It's like Movember. This is Movember, fellas, and some of us give a crap. Okay, like let's not ignore some of these things, dudes. I know some stubborns, but yeah, I mean, I've done it too, and I also know I have to be more, a little more aware, checking my own breast situation. I don't know. A lot of people may not know that. They may not know that at all. Males can get breast cancer. So the male check is just like it's different from the female check. It should just be checked. I know. All I know is that, yeah, I know, slinging the biscuit. I'm like, I don't know what kind of females hurt you. Like this guy, and he's like a lawyer. I'm like, not all males put their females up on a pedestal. And I mean, I can be honest with you, fellas, I would not allow someone to do that. That's not where I belong. And yes, we are equal. Men and women are equal. We're different though. Okay, like y'all are you're thinking about your physique and the blah blah blah. You understand? So yeah, yeah, we are. We're just different. And so no, I don't think the females should play in the national hockey league. I've never thought that. Okay, the only position that might, if there was a female who just keeps, like I need to up my level. I need to up my level. I need to up my level. Maybe occasionally, right? Would be goalie because goalie is a protected position. Okay, and if they, but you got to be able to handle it. I mean, I get it, fellas. It's the only position, but now don't be comparing what you guys have to what the females have because you guys been at this for over a century. Just stop. I mean, I know why some of you aren't going to get women, or they do, depending on your orientation. It's it's like that's just okay. Slaying the biscuit, guys. You're not thinking about this properly. You're not. There are females who know the game really, really well. I'm one of them. I'm still catching up there. I have to take care of some family things, and yes, I'm disabled. My life, lots of things that I was used to doing, I can't anymore, and trying to get used to that. Used to that, bit of struggle here and there. I mean, I can't drive a motor vehicle anymore. I'm only 53. I didn't think at the age of 53 I would not be working or not have like certain things, but uh, you know, I kind of knew when I was younger that my family I would not have. By the time I was 50, they'd be gone. It happened when I was 40. Okay, so we don't really know what the future holds sometimes. But fellas, some of these females are not ruining the National Hockey League, and you need to stop and look at it. Men and women are equal. We're just different, and I am not saying that, that your compete level for over 100 years, and it's like a well-oiled machine. Okay, theirs is just starting. They're not saying that they can play equal to you. You understand? But women need to up their level too, and now there's a pro level for them to do that. I mean, don't keep going there. Don't keep going there. I mean, you're actually like belittling your grandma and your mom when you do that. fellas. I mean, like, what female hurt you? And not all females are the same. And yes, men and women are equal. We're different, though. I don't have the same upper body strength. I know. I've had enough. So if the gentlemen who do know what I'm talking about could please, yes, jump in and help, uh, get these fellows a little more understanding. We're not saying that the female pro ice hockey game level is to your level, assholes. Well, I'm calling it like I see it. But there's some females who really know this game, sometimes better than you fellas. Now, if that hurts your little baby little pride, I don't really give a shit. Suck it up. There are some females who talk about the game who really know what they're talking. Okay, you're not looking at it. It's wrong thinking. You just say, okay, well, it's just like, is your manhood being threatened here? So if some of the fellas know what I'm talking about, could jump in and have a conversation with some of these other fellas, like. And when it's the National Hockey goaltending, I know that there are actual, real, former National Hockey League goaltenders who know who I am, and I know that they know. I understand that position very, very well. I understand the kind of pressures that happen. I have been listening to them since I was 8 years old. I have been following their careers the entire time. I listen to the way players, view them. I listen to the way other goalies talk about other goalies. I simply whatever I can get my eyes and about. I know the position of National Hockey League goaltender than billions of people walking the planets. True story. True story. That's why I don't really look at goalie stats so much. And when it comes to player sets, I mean, when it comes right down to it, it's like, all right, well, the franchise knows, and these guys know. They know. They're like, man, I don't know. I was like half zombified that last period. I'm not sure. I need to snap out of it, Like, I mean, they know. And so I'm, optimistic completely about the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm learning about all the social media. So, I mean, I will be making sure I'm saying hi, when they do check in with Sarah and that other guy, that Dodgers fan. I know, I'm a Jays fan too. Yeah, Jamie, which I know. I saw that orange like jacket, bright orange jacket, and like the first thing that popped into my head was when those traffic cones on the pylon. I typed that out. I'm like, he looks like a pylon. It was the first thing that popped into my head. He's like, that's not nice. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. Like I did, I did. It looked like one of those traffic cones. So but I am not gonna be talking the same way that other people talk about it. I'm not gonna be, dissing people. And some of these stats are meaning. And I mean, I know I've learned every position. Once a year, I pick a position or I pick a spot on ice to concentrate on, and right. The the centermen have certain responsibilities. Some wingers can change sides. Right? Every single hockey franchise, including the Winnipeg Jets, go us, right, do have to adjust to some of the things that the other team does. It's just never a one-sided game that way. Okay? And so learning how to do that quickly is also helpful. I mean, they can't always control the puck. Um, you know, have the other coach should change the line in the middle. I mean, between a period, and you're the Jets don't know, so they come out and they're surprised, like, oh, the first line changed. So they got to on the fly make those adjustments. So I think what I can say is that anybody who actually plays in the National Hockey League, they can't really be dense or particularly slow minded. Some can be a little right, and that's okay. I'm not ragging on anybody, but your brain has to be cooking on all cylinders all the time to play this game, especially nowadays. Right. So anyway, there's my hour. Happy Movember. Don't forget to change your clocks back. I'm a good-hearted, good-natured person, and so just I'm a fan. Hello Winnipeg, from the Maryland, USA, Winnipeg fan annex over here. I'm by the Brown Street Blue, like that way, and then the that team I don't see him anymore. The one Overview plays on, man. And then I know the football. I get the Eagle fans over here. I got the Redskins, the Ravens. Jeez, the O's fans. Jeez. Yeah, I don't care. Right. I don't care. I'm still a Jays fan, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. I feel like I'm in hostile territory quite a bit, right? But I don't care. Right? I mean, it's not going to stop me. So, I have a unique experience being a Winnipeg Jets fan where I am. Also, yes, a Blue Jay fan, right? A very, very unique experience. And I know, hello out there, some people who are, right, listening to the games online radio from other countries. I saw one from California. I saw one from, I think, Czech Republic. Um, I think, I'm not sure, like Denmark or wherever. I mean, there's Winnipeg Jets fans sort of like scattered all over. So hello to them. We're the ones that aren't living in Canada. I would love to live in it. It's not because I don't like the U.S. It's just because I'm Canadian. I tend to get along with Canadians really well. A lot of Canadian music I like. I'm a Blue Jays fan, right? I'm a Jets fan. It kind of makes sense. I don't care about politics. Like, I don't have any say in any of it. It's all political theater to me. Some of it I think is ridiculous, but Canadian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just don't care about that kind of stuff. I mean, it affects our lives, but it's sort of like I don't have control over it other than the vote, right? So I don't know these things. I mean, I am a Canadian, want to be that way in a sense because it's just I'm sure I'd be happy that even, I mean, no matter what the issues are, right? We have issues here too. I don't code it yet. There's just like stuff that, and I'd be happy to learn about how everything works in Canada. And I mean, if I was going to learn a second language that I was very fluent in at this point in my life, it would definitely be French, right? Because of the French Canadian contingent. Um, so I know I don't I could probably get a sponsor, but they don't have some of those skills that that Canada's looking for. And I am disabled, but I have a lot of other things to offer. And I know that there's like, clinical studies and like medical things that I might be able to be a part of. Plus, I have a genius level IQ, and it's just information about me. I do pull stupids a little more often. I do get some brain fog occasionally because of health. issues. I can usually tell. So yeah, I'll just say, duh, not right now. I can't help you. Yeah, not today. But I love ice hockey. I dig ice hockey people. You know, they're things that just have been sort of like planted in people's heads, and sort of like gentlemen, and some of the females like, okay, things have changed. You go beat the shit out of somebody and see whoever can beat the shit out of anybody. And I do get tired of the hockey fighting joke because there's so much more to National Hockey League than just fights. So much more. I mean, it's like the fight, like the little tiny tip of the iceberg. The sport is like the people that like the struggle that the kind of people that call each other brothers, like a family. It's like this whole, and then they overcome things, and then they learn things, and they grow as men, and some stay with it and some don't, and help each other. Like sometimes they'll help each other even if they're not too fond of each other. And some of them fuck out on ice and outside of ice. This is human. These are human things. Okay? Human things. So I know some people have hard feelings when this one gets traded or that one gets fired or whatever. But I guess some dudes could jump in with the slang and the biscuit. It's like, fellas, we're not going backwards into the dark ages here. Men and women are equal in that we are different. And I'm not a proponent of the females playing in the National Hockey League. Their level, they haven't had the same kind of time to level up. But give them the opportunity. I mean, you really are being some grumpy dumb gusses. I think there's some hockey grandmas should jump in and start like, yeah, giving slang and the biscuits some shit. Anyway, yeah, 'tis the season. Movember, fellas. Movember. You guys get the breast cancer too. Get the prostate thing. Okay? Don't put it off. Alright. So, love to you guys. I don't do the up and down sort of roller coaster situation when it comes to ice hockey. But that's because I've just been an ice hockey fan for so long and I understand the game. And I won't be talking about all the specifics because I'm just too busy listening and learning. But I will be checking in on the chats, some discussion, and saying hello and learning more about like Manitoba and Winnipeg and the franchise. And I understand the vision at this point. I understand kind of what the system is sort of, but I don't need to know certain specifics. And I'm the kind of person that understands. They're playing against another team, and they need to adjust, just like and it's never just one guy. Okay, Ray Lewis, formerly Baltimore Ravens, right? Win as a team, lose as a team. Okay, like pinpointing and spotting, like, oh, this guy needs to produce, and it's just like, well, I'm sure when he gets the opportunity, he will. Some of you need to chill out when it comes to that kind of stuff, and you do need to understand that other teams will come at you with some stuff, and there's always adjustments. Both teams need to adjust. And their guys sometimes they just see it and they go, and it may not make sense, but there are times when don't want to just rush across right the puck because they're not really going to get a breakaway, and to be a little more patient. Which is why Malkin is such a pain in the ass. Right, Malkin. But he's like the perfect example for patients, like right for patients with the in neutral zone, in the ozone, and what sometimes he goes D zone. Like defensive responsibility is not the same as asking the whole team to play great defense. Some guys. So I mean, I'll be talking about it here and there, but not in the same ways that we'll be talking about that topic. But I do try and listen and get online. I'm trying to learn all names and faces, and get to know some of the fans who are always interested. And I appreciate the Jets at noon and whatever else. Right? Spitting chicklets might be stealing your intellectual. True North. Winnipeg Jets. Copacetic situation, but they might be. All right. Movember. It was 1-1-1-1-1. Just a few moments ago. Try to be a little more objective every day, and don't let me give you shit because there's like you don't know certain hockey stuff because you're a newer fan. Like give him the slide. Like your opinion means nothing to me. Thank you, Jay. Okay. Just, all right. And, well, yay for the Jays. That way. Jamie won. Sorry, Kyla.